Hi, I'm Elizabeth at Literary Princess, and today I am back with another tag video. This is a lot shorter than the previous tag video. It is the Wishful Thinking book tag made by Mason in the Dark. So again, wasn't tagged in it. I saw Teacup the Storyteller do it, and I really liked the prompts, so I decided to do it. All right, so let's jump right in. First prompt, legacy. Is there an author you wish was still alive today to witness the impact of their work? And yes, there is, and it's actually a book by an author that I don't even like. So for this, I picked Herman Melville, who wrote Moby Dick. And this is a beautiful copy, even though I don't actually like this book. But so Herman Melville's life story is actually really sad. Moby Dick was not well received by critics when he first published it, and he actually died feeling that he was a failure. And like the one thing he wanted was to be considered as good as Nathaniel Hawthorne, and he died being like, I'll never be as good as Nathaniel Hawthorne, which is just really sad. And this is like one of the best known, most loved American classics ever. So I just wish he was here to see that his book is literally taught beside Hawthorne's books. Like I've read this in 2 classes, and one of them we read it right after the Scarlet Letter, I think. So like, you are as good as Hawthorne. Melville, please don't be sad. His life was just really sad. But yeah, I just wish that he knew that and didn't die feeling he was a failure, because prompt number 2, memory wipe. Which book or series do you wish you could forget, either so you could experience it again for the first time or forget completely? So I was going to pick 2 for this. One that I wish I could experience for the first time, and then one to completely forget. But as I was thinking, I realized that I don't actually want to forget any of the books that I love, even if it is to re-experience them for the first time. And that's because for a lot of them, they are works that I'm involved with scholarly. So I would lose all the scholarly knowledge that I've gained on them and all of these ideas that I have and have been writing about for a long time now. And like the thought of that almost devastated me. And then it's like, what if I don't get those back when I reread it? I would have to, that's like years of work that would be gone. And I was like, no, I can't do it. So I'm only picking one that I would want to completely forget. And this is Jenny Pox. And I can't remember the author's name, but it's gonna be up here. Oof. All right, so I knew when I picked this up that it was going to be bad. I did this to myself. But I didn't just do it to myself. I did it to myself twice. So one of my college roommates was like, this is the worst book I've ever read. And I was like, it can't possibly be that bad. And it was free on Amazon, so you know, hey. And it was that bad. The writing was just horrific. The characters were so bad. There were actually some really good moments of horror, but it was just completely ruined by these just terrible stereotypes and bad plotting and just... But yeah, so I read it and was like, oh my God, this is actually the worst book ever. But then a few years later, I was thinking about it. I was like, no, it couldn't have been as bad as that. So I reread it. I subjected myself to it again. And it was just as bad as I remembered it being. And if I could wipe my brain of that completely, I happily would, because I hate that I know about it and that I read it and that I not only read it, but I read it twice. And I have no one to blame but myself, completely. So yeah, I'd erase that one. Destiny, which character do you wish had a different fate? So I had to think about this one for a really long time, because if the character has a different fate, then it completely changes the book, you know? I'm like, I mean, yeah, there's characters that die, but like I wouldn't want to change the book. But I did think of one character who I just kind of wish I could pull out of the book and save, and that is Jude from A Little Life by Hanya Nagihara. Am I saying that right? I don't know. This poor child. He's not even a child. He's a grown man by the end of the book. But his life is just traumatic event after traumatic event. And I just wish that this poor thing, I at least wish that there had been a happy ending for him, even though I knew there wasn't gonna be. Like, reading this book, I was like, there's no way that this ends happily, but like, you still hold out that hope. I wish he had a different fate, and I wish it were a kinder fate than what he got. But then the book would be different, and it wouldn't be as impactful, let's say. But still, poor Jude. Right, next prompt. Namesake. If a character was going to be named after you, what kind of person would you wish for them to be, and what sort of story would you want them to be in? So I actually don't have to wish for this. This already exists because my name is Elizabeth, and that is a fairly common name, and it's actually the name of two of my favorite fictional characters. We've got Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and then we have Elizabeth, who is nicknamed Liesel in Winter Song by S.J. Jones. And both of these women are exactly what I would want a character to be named after me to be. They are strong, intelligent women. They are passionate about what they love and about their family, and I just love it. And they're both in a type of story that I would want to be in, because Regency romance, yes, please. I would love to be in a Regency romance. And then absolutely gorgeous fantasy novel about the Goblin King and a kingdom underground and music. And yeah, sign me up. So I don't have to wish. They already exist. Of course, then I am also, my family calls me Beth, so I'm also the same as the sister in Little Women that dies, so you know, I guess that evens out. I have some great characters, and then I have some dead characters. Collectibles. Which fictional object do you wish you could own? I thought about this for so long, because I was like, okay, I took this extremely seriously, if you can't tell. And there's no reason to take this so seriously, but I did. And I thought this answer out very well. And I picked The Wardrobe from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. Why? Because it may open a portal into Narnia, which would be absolutely awesome. However, if it did not open a portal into Narnia, I would still have this absolutely gorgeous wardrobe to store clothes in. So either way, I win. Either I get to go to Narnia or I have beautiful furniture. Or actually, in either case, I have beautiful furniture and I may get to go to Narnia. I see no downside here. This is what I would pick. All right, and then the last prompt is the reset button. Which book or series do you wish were written by a different author? Harry Potter. I mean, what to even say about that? I'm sure it's obvious why I wish it were written by a different author. It turns out J.K. Rowling is not a great person and has very bad opinions and is rather hateful towards trans people, which is awful and really goes against everything that it seems her book stands for. But so I grew up, I was like the Harry Potter generation. I grew up as these books were coming out. So I adore Harry Potter. Like, I grew up with it. It's my childhood. and now come to find as an adult that the author is a bad person. And it's so like, what do you do? And it's such a complicated thing. Like, what do you do? I wish this was written by a different author so that I could enjoy this story and this world without having to deal with this and all of the nastiness that she has brought into the world. So it would uncomplicate things so much if this were written by a different author. Unfortunately, it's not. So I tend to not really talk about Harry Potter anymore so as not to promote it. And I also do not give any money to J.K. Rowling. I don't buy any products. I don't go to see the movies. This is a newer edition of the book, but it was bought well before all the nastiness. So yeah, I wish this were written by somebody else so that I could enjoy it still without these complicated feelings. That was kind of a downer to end on. That was a real downer to end on. Here, have a cat. Yeah, sorry, I'm disturbing you. Kitty, be happy. Yay, Kitty. This is Butters. He's a good boy. He says, Mommy, I was sleeping. Why did you wake me up? We had to make the people happier because that was a downer to end on. Okay, go back to sleep. He's like, how am I supposed to do that? You've disturbed my slumber. So yeah, that is my answers for the wishful thinking book tag. I'm not going to tag anybody, but if you see this and want to do it, please feel free to consider yourself tagged. It's been great chatting with you all. I will see you soon. Bye.